This story begins on one of the very rainy days. A black cat sits on the roof of one of the houses of the night city and looks at the street between the tall houses, in which the lights have not been lit for a long time. A message with a fresh weather forecast sweeps through the city. The local station of the city reports that heavy rain, which began last night, will continue for about the whole of this week. Also, the meteorological service issued a warning about heavy rains of the yellow hazard category, which in general may be upgraded to the red line. But not all houses and buildings are not lit yet. A black cat is sitting right on the roof of the shop, where the lights have not yet gone out. There is a sign on the door with a brief and clear inscription, "Open." The owner of this bookstore slowly rearranges the books on the shelves. His hands are decorated with elegant white gloves. The owner is afraid that because of this rain there will be no visitors again today. A man frowns at such negative thoughts, but this person is trying to cheer himself up by the fact that there is a small chance that someone will forget his umbrella and then he will have to look for a place to hide from the rain. Then this unlucky person will have the honor to enter this mysterious store. A man is pleased with such thoughts. He continues to look at books and rearrange them on other shelves. The owner of the bookstore calls himself such a good and kind person, and he hopes that this little act of his romance will bring him income. Although not, let it be better that this romantic act will bring the man more clients. He would like to talk to the visitors of the bookstore. For an elegant man, of course, money is not important, but customers are more important. It would also be very cool if visitors were impressed by the kindness and enthusiasm of the owner, and under this impression people would take and buy a couple of books from the topics that are available in this store. At this time, the night sky is decorated with a beautiful bright blue game that glows with a bright light. Terrible things happen under the moon. A lady with a sword is fighting with unknown people. She hits a huge bald man in a robe with a sword right on the right hand. It was a precise and powerful blow that mercilessly chopped off this man's arm. And the girl moves on. Then two more opponents run after her. They are extremely negative. Then the girl uses a dagger and with a quick movement of her hand and strikes the masked guy with this dagger, which suddenly appeared in her hand. The sharp dagger strikes the enemy with a direct hit to the head. The second man is shocked by this turn of events. While he is distracted from what is happening, his opponent girl is standing behind him. She radiates a negative and hostile aura. The girl grabbed the guy in the mask by the throat and is ready to cut him with another dagger. But the girl decides not to cut the guy's throat. She deftly moves her hands and wrings his neck. A sharp crunch characteristic of this action sweeps through the sky. The girl throws the dead guy in the mask away from her. Now, all the enemies of the mysterious lady have been defeated. Now she is alone in the middle of the street, and a downpour is pouring down on her from the sky, which still does not stop, throwing the lifeless body away from her. The girl realizes that she was previously injured because it was painful for her to turn and move her body. She has a characteristic wound on her beard, from which scarlet blood flows almost like a stream. The girl is very glad that it's finally over. It looks like 3 or 4 of her thighs are broken, but that's okay. She is thinking about what she should do in this situation. It also seems to her that even with the effect of spoiled blood, self-healing of the body and healing of wounds will take at least an hour. But it will be dangerous for the girl to wait this time on the street. It will really be dangerous. She urgently needs to find at least some shelter. A girl needs time, which is already short. She slowly, holding on to her wound, goes to seek shelter, and her defeated enemies remain behind her. They will never get up again. Now they are doomed to eternal rest. The faces of these 4 men express complete fear and horror. He froze in these expressions. Meanwhile, the girl is carefully exploring the area. She has not yet given up in search of shelter for herself. Suddenly, among the closed and dark buildings, she notices a light in the windows, and on the building itself he sees a sign open. The girl is surprised. Is this a bookstore? It's very strange. Why is he the only one of all the other stores open in this weather? Is it just a coincidence or is it a trap? You need to take this into account and be attentive to the end. The lady is slowly approaching this mysterious bookstore. She still doubts whether she should go there. Suddenly, the situation turns out to be more deplorable for her than it is now if she goes there. But then she realizes that she has no choice. In any case, she needs to hide somewhere as soon as possible. The girl tells herself to be brave and enter this bookstore. Finally, she opens the front door of the store. He sees a bell above the door, so now the owner of the store knows that someone has come to him. Apparently another person who needs help in such rainy weather. The dark-haired girl begins to move deeper into the bookstore. She slowly but surely approaches the counter where the owner of the store himself is sitting and reading a book. Seeing the girl, he was very happy and immediately distracted from reading. He closes the book and immediately greets the girl in his store. Here the man abruptly changes his face. He notices a lot of suspicious things only in the appearance of the lady. He says out loud that, apparently, he did not wait for customers for so long for nothing, because such a beautiful guest came to him. Wherever you look, this mysterious girl has a lot of stories. Now she's all wet, water is dripping from her, and she looks like a battered witch. The store owner will have to use his sales skill, although he abruptly changes his goal because he would rather use the skill of talkativeness. Then the man offers the mysterious guest to take and use hot towels. If the lady wants to warm up, then she can safely take them. The lady does not like the words of the owner of the bookstore that he has been waiting for visitors for so long. It is also very suspicious that at first glance there is everything in this place that she might need right now. And it's all in a very ordinary bookstore. Apparently, this is not just an accident. It is quite possible that this person knows something that he should not know. The girl takes an ordinary towel and begins to wipe the water from her face with it. She thanks the owner of the store for his help, but she needs to warm up. This is enough. At this point, the lady assumes what kind of faction this person may be. From where? From the secret tower? Or maybe from the faction of the Society of Truth? Or is it even worse and this man was present at the Pueblo's party? So many questions, so few answers, yet the girl has. The lady can't know for sure, it's all at the level of her guesses. But in any case, this guy is not just a bookstore owner. He clearly has his own secrets. Then she decides to ask why the bookstore owner was waiting for her. Why did he say that? Then the man stretches out his hand towards the girl and says that yes, it's amazing. It's amazing how fate can sometimes bring two strangers together at first glance. The mysterious man replies that it seems that the girl is in an extremely difficult situation, so she needs help. At this moment, the man uses psychological suggestion, his first technique. It lies in the fact that words about problems do not carry any meaning by themselves. This is an ordinary psychological suggestion. The lady is in shock, as this gentleman said exactly. She has no choice but to respond positively to this, because the mysterious man is absolutely right. The reception continues its action. After all, as soon as a visitor relaxes and starts complaining about his problems, Mr. Lin immediately begins pouring honey into his visitor's ears in order to get closer faster. The lady says that she had one unpleasant problem. She thinks that right now she cannot judge for sure whether this man is her friend or vice versa, so she agrees with his words in order to study his personality and his goals in more detail. Mr. Lin says he regrets it, but if he understands correctly, but most likely, the girl's problems are problems in a relationship. Is he right? While saying this, Mr. Lin pours tea into a mug, and here is the second reception of the insidious Mr. Lin. And these are vague speeches. This is a very versatile technique, much respected charlatan and magician Lin. Its essence is that the meaning of a man's words should be so unclear as to subsequently leave room for maneuver, both for himself and for his interlocutor. The girl is stunned by this assumption of the man. What does he mean by that? Is that a plan somehow? Or what? Either he is trying to intimidate the lady, or he has known about everything for a long time. Then Mr. Lin puts a chair to the table and invites the girls to sit down and continue their conversation about all this. Unless, of course, the girl is not against such an offer. The lady is even more wary. Did outsiders really become aware of the uprising of the white wolves in such a short time? This can't be happening. After all, it can't be that Mr. Lin guessed all this so simply and by chance. Unless, of course, he was in control of the situation from the very beginning. Then everything goes exactly according to Mr. Lin's plan. She sits down at the table and holds out the tea that was poured for her earlier. She began to tell me that she had really been betrayed. One guy is to blame for everything that happened to her. At this time, Mr. Lin learns even more about the mysterious girl. He was able to see it in her with the help of the egg of the magic mirror. This is the egg of a magical creature capable of seducing the human mind. Because of this egg, years of friendly communication fell victim to greed and greed for profit. And it all went so far that the guy who caused the unpleasant mysterious lady used the forces of the organization to destroy the girl's former friends. This is a rather sad story. Mr. Lin is very surprised by this girl's story. That's the real drama. There were relationships, betrayal, and further depression. Now it's clear why she has such big problems. We urgently need to find the right medicine for the lady. Mr. Lin says there are only two sides to all this. It is possible that the girl has experienced betrayal from a person close to her, but then it means that it will happen to everyone. Now the girl is finally sure that Mr. Lin has known about everything for a long time. No, at the first opportunity, people will go on about greed, according to the same scenario. Sooner or later, everything will be the same and will fall into its predetermined places. The girl says that Mr. Lin is absolutely right about everything. But this betrayal cost the girl dearly and also hurt her badly. She has already seen all the ugliness of human nature, so what's the point of it at all? Mr. Lin analyzes what the girl said, that she really lost a lot and suffered a lot. Well, that's it. Now Mr. Lin understands everything. It must be that, most likely, the girl received a strong emotional trauma from a terrible person who cheated on the poor girl. And now, at this very moment, a master like Mr. Lin, the master of eloquence, comes into play. He says that all this has its advantages, but now, the girl knows what is real and what is not. And the girl should never feel sorry for the people who hurt him, because they are not worthy of any pity. Even if the girl was once close to such people, it seems to the girl that Mr. Lin's goal has become clear to her. Was he trying to use her to develop some kind of plan against the hunters? Mr. Lin is so clever with cunning and grace while hating hunters. It looks like this bookstore owner is a high-ranking dark magician. After the girl listened attentively to Mr. Lin's speech and now asks him what, in his opinion, she should do. Then Mr. Lin changes his face and tells the girl that since these are ordinary and worthless people, then she can calmly take revenge on them. And here is the time for Mr. Lin's reception, and these are purposeful tips. The man says that the girl should not be condescending with them in any case. The essence of the reception is to keep the visitor. And in order to keep the visitor, you need to make him a competent offer, taking into account all life circumstances, which is very different for the better from other offers. What? Should a girl take a turn away from these people? She is not mentally ready for this in any way. It seems that Mr. Lin is not going according to plan at all. But it doesn't matter because everything is ready. It's time to really get down to business. Here Mr. Lin smiles slyly and says that he thinks that the girl needs a certain book. Here he abruptly puts a book on the table, which, in the opinion of the gentleman, is suitable for the situation in which his guest today found herself. It's good that Mr. Lin was reading the confession just before all this. This difficult book is perfect for such a confused girl. What's it? Blood and the Beast. The girl has never even heard of such a title. She sees this book for the first time. But why did Mr. Lin decide to give it to the girl right now? What's the catch? Then the girl decides to open this book. But this is not an easy book at all, as it seemed at first glance. Inside it, on almost all the pages of the book, there is a strange dark red substance. This substance begins to envelop the girl with fast and faithful movements. It happens so quickly that she does not have time to understand anything. Gradually, this substance takes the form of a scarlet beast with huge white fangs. Now the girl is enveloped in tentacles. The girl does not yet understand what the meaning of all this is. Then the tentacles definitely turn into a beast. This beast has already lagged behind the girl's body. Now they are in a mug with a drink to the girl. The transformation into a beast has just been completed. Turning into a beast, a power obtained and controlled by blood. Hunters get their power from fantasy beasts by injecting dangerous tainted blood into themselves. At the mouth of the beast there is now a huge syringe with the same spoiled blood. There is also the fact that the higher the concentration of tainted blood, the greater the strength of the hunter and the stronger the transformation into a beast, which ultimately leads to death. However, Mr. Lin came up with a way to control this tainted blood. This is enough to undermine the entire system of power on which the community of hunters relies. Now the girl has finally understood what Mr. Lin wants from her. Did he really want her to do that? The gentleman says yes, that's what he needs. But all this is not for the sake of repentance, but for the girl to be honest with herself. This man probably knows that even if a broken woman looks strong and resilient, in fact she is still sad inside herself. And so, just a couple of words of comfort and a recommendation of a good book, as this girl is already on the verge of tears. Now it's time for Mr. Lin to use the original text from the book itself to instill self-confidence in this girl. He begins to make a speech, approaching the girl from behind. The book says that the trumpets will sound, marking the beginning of the day of judgment, and the hero will appear before the Almighty Judge with this book in his hands. And he will declare what he does, what he thinks, who he is, with the same frankness with which the hero talks about good and evil. Every person has the basest animal desires. Is all this true? Did she really write in Confessions? Now the girl should not worry at all, because calming people is Mr. Lin's specialty. She just needs to accept it and trust Mr. Lin, and after that, the girl will have a new life. And here is the fourth reception of the mysterious Mr. Lin. This is the final conclusion. It turns out that after the visitor has poured out his emotions to Mr. Lin, give him positive instructions, as well as self-confidence, so that the guest can act and solve the problems he will face in the future. So, it was an eloquence lesson from Mr. Lin. Did all the readers remember everything? Next, the man raises the mug with the drink up and says that he and the girl should drink to a completely new future. The girl also raises her mug up. She sincerely thanks the owner of the bookstore for his helpful advice. She will definitely follow them. After that, the girl drinks the drink offered to her in one gulp. Mr. Lin did not expect this at all, because there was definitely boiling water in the mug. She shouldn't have drunk it so quickly, but she took it and really did it. But the owner of the store just wanted to warm the girl from the inside with this drink. He carefully examines the girl. It seems that everything is fine with her now. Is this the power of the legendary skeleton? Now Mr. Lin sums up what just happened. He also asks the girl that she must have filled out a library card. Then the girl takes a pen and writes her name in the card in the line visitor. It turns out that the girl's name is Jai Jixu. Mr. Lin seems very familiar with this name. He definitely remembers one famous tycoon, Jai Bonong, who led the underground resource development in the lower city. And it seems that Jai Jixu is his only daughter's name. Mr. Lin is in shock. What a catch. A man can do a lot with this girl. He is very inspired. But now you need to drop your insidious ideas, because first of all you need to earn enough money to repair the store, and then everything else. The gentleman needs to calm down urgently. After all, the best way to earn money is to receive money regularly. Next, the store owner tells Jai Jixu that the book in his store is taken for a month, and the maximum delay in the delivery of the book is a week. Mr. Lin also adds that it's still raining outside, even a downpour, so he gives Jai an umbrella along with the book. The girl needs to remember to take it with her when she returns the book back to the store later. Jai Jixu is very grateful for the help she received. She is also interested in whether she can get to know Mr. Lin better. The owner of the bookstore is very surprised by this question. What is it? Did his earlier words sound like a real flirtation? But no, the gentleman needs to respond adequately to this. He tells Jai Jixu that his name is Lin Jai and he is a very ordinary but very sympathetic bookstore owner. The girl understands that the man does not intend to reveal his true identity at all. But at least for now, he should be on Jai Jixu's side. Next, the girl opens the umbrella and says goodbye to Mr. Lin, wishing him a good night. Lin Jai tells the girl to take care of herself and he will meet the girl once again. Lin Jai is very happy that another good deed has been done, and doing good deeds every day, a person will feel good. It is quite possible that this is what the being who forced Lin Jai to cross into this world had in mind. Next, the owner of the store needs to do the cleaning and prepare for the meeting of the next visitor. If today, of course, someone else looks into Lin Jai's bookstore, Jai Jixu is moving further and further away from the store. She thinks Lin Jai is a very creepy guy, so now she must deal with the traitor as soon as possible, and then come back again and meet the owner of the bookstore. The plan is very clear. Here a mysterious figure in a dark hat and an umbrella with an umbrella appears on the way of the girl. Jai Jixu feels that something is wrong, so he grabs the book Confession more tightly. Azure Continent, Nazan City. It's raining heavily in the city again. Lin Jai is revisiting his huge book library again. He comes across a book called Rituals and Magic by the authorship of Lin Jai himself. He opens and also glances over the text. Reading this book, the owner of the bookstore feels a pleasant nostalgia. After his transition, Lin Jai settled in the city of Nazan, and now he has been living here for 3 years. In 2017, Lin Jai worked at the university library, then he was a doctor of folklore studies. A student is approached by a library employee. She says it's time to close. Then why isn't Lin Jai going anywhere? He replies that he wants to read some more books. He tells the girl to leave, and then he himself will close the door to the library. The girl understood Lin Jai. She is saying goodbye to the teacher and will be glad to see him tomorrow. She's already leaving. Another girl meets a girl from the library. She says it's late enough, then why isn't teacher Lin leaving yet? Another girl apologizes for being late at the library. She is sorry that she made her friend wait. She also says that it's because teacher Lin loves books very much. That's why he decided to stay a little longer. The girl once heard that he even seems to collect books and spends his entire salary on buying them. The girlfriend of this girl does not believe in what she said. It seems to her that the girl is simply exaggerating, because this cannot be. At this moment, the teacher finally finished reading the last book he took. It's already deep night outside. A bright blue moon is shining in the sky. There are no clouds in the sky. Lin Jai, as promised earlier, closes the library door. Now, all the preparations for the ritual are completed. On the floor, right in front of Lin Jai, there is a huge bright yellow pentagram. Inside it there are many different mysterious symbols, words and signs. Lin Jai is pleased that the preparation of the ritual site has finally been completely completed. A man knows that wishes definitely don't come true by magic. But as long as Lin Jai has a single glimmer of hope, he is willing to pay any price for it. He puts his hand on the pentagram and asks her to give him all the books of this world. But the man's request for some reason does not work. Lin Jai is very upset about the failure. But, on the other hand, he knew that this would happen, that nothing would work out. After all, some magic circle will not fulfill his wish. But suddenly, some scary creature from another world appears behind the guy's back. This creature has no face, it has only a huge mouth, from which snow-white teeth are visible. At first, Lin Jai does not realize that he is not alone in the building. But when the monster approaches the guy from behind, when he feels someone breathing from behind, but quickly turns around, he suddenly feels uncomfortable. He turns around abruptly, but strangely enough, the monster is no longer there. Instead of there is a huge door behind Lin Jai, which depicts a huge glowing bright eye. It's like he's watching a guy from another world. This door looks very unusual. It depicts bright red patterns that are located along the entire length of the door. This door took all of Lin Jai's attention. After all, it was at this moment that the man realized that if he did not open this mysterious door now, then his dream of books would definitely come true. But the price of this adventure is never to return to Earth again. This is a very high price. But Lin Jai values his dream too much, so he is willing to pay such a seemingly high price. But a satisfied grin appears on his face. Lin Jai has almost opened this magic door. But this moment is already in the past. Lin Jai walked through that door and ended up in Nazan. Lin Jai didn't know that so much time had passed since that moment. Mr. Lin didn't even have time to notice it. This is all because Lin Jai's current life is no different from his previous life. It seems to a man that the payment he once paid is quite decent. Shouldn't such a ritual be paid for? The answer is obvious. In this world, there is no system that could issue tasks, and also some cranks do not come to Lin Jai, so the days of staying in Nazan flow so calmly and so unhurriedly. Isn't that great? Lin Jai is really happy about this. He is positively glowing with happiness. He likes everything in his current reality. He does not regret at all that he exchanged this world for Earth. After all, now, Lin Jai can update the bookshelves every day, and also read so many books that are still unread. This is basically what Lin Jai has been dreaming about all his life. He just needs to communicate with visitors. It turns out that life's happiness lies in such little things. Lin Jai made himself some tea again, but now he was thinking about something again. He worries that his bookstore has not had new visitors for a long time. And it seems that Lin Jai's communication skills have not deteriorated yet. This is very cool. But one thing pleases that the girl who previously came to Lin Jai will certainly become happier today. Meanwhile, Jai Jixu is standing in the middle of the street without moving. A man in a raincoat and hat is slowly but surely approaching a very frightened girl. Oddly enough, this man also has a book in his hand. I wonder where she came from. At this moment, the man continues to move towards Jai Jixu. Here, he passes by the girl. At that moment, he notices the girl's book confession from the girl's hand. But poor Jai Jixu can't move. Her hand is frozen. Then the man in the mask turns his gaze back to the girl who has become petrified with fear and fright. The stranger in the hat praises the confession that the girl chose, as if he approves of her choice of the book. He says Jai Jixu is definitely lucky to have her. The girl feels trapped, as if a snake has encircled her, and is curling on the girl's body, gradually depriving her of the opportunity to breathe deeply. Jai Jixu even had sweat on her forehead. She really is completely terrified of this man and his heavy and oppressive aura. In his hands he carries an interesting book. This is Emptiness and Silence. The stranger walks on, and Jai Jixu leans against the wall. She doesn't care about the rain anymore, so she dropped the umbrella from her hands, which should protect the girl from the rain. Who was it? This can't be happening. Was this frightening man heading to Mr. Lin's bookstore? Apparently, this is so. Perhaps it's time for the man to return the book to Lin Jai's library. Meanwhile, this person is already on the doorstep of the store. He opens the door and the bell above the front door, which indicates that the man is already inside. Lin Jai sees a new visitor and immediately greets him. Lin Jai did not see the guest's face, so he did not immediately react to the sky. But when he turned around and examined the man, he realized that in front of him was already a familiar person. This man's name is Frank. Apparently, this is not the first time he has appeared in this bookstore. Lin Jai assumes that Frank has come to return the book he took earlier. Frank seems happy to see Lin Jai, and they immediately walk towards each other. Frank addresses Lin Jai more formally. He doesn't understand how Mr. Lin dares to pronounce his name. Lin Jai says that, of course, he dares. But he's already calling Frank by his last name. that is, Wilda. Frank is also unhappy that Lin Jai has a new visitor because she took away a book that Frank Wilda himself often reads. Lin Jai says that he decided that it was confession that would be useful right now. Frank also notices that he took this book last time. Then Lin Jai rather rudely says that, as he said earlier, it would be very difficult for an old man like Wilda to read the confession. But Frank did not believe the owner of the bookstore. Frank says that after reading it, he realized that it was too difficult to understand, and there was a whole world in it, from birth to death. And based on his superficial knowledge, it will be difficult to imagine how great the person who managed to write such an amazing and wonderful book is. Lin Jai says that the author of this book is a dead giant. Then Frank says that since it was a giant, it's not surprising at all. At this time, Jai Jixu overhears a conversation between two men. Now, the girl understands what kind of stranger appeared before her earlier. Of course, this man is Frank Wilda, the Black Faceless. This is a dark magician of the destructive level. Unbelievably, according to the rules established by the Society of Truth in 1788, all supernatural beings are divided into 4 levels, which is also called the APRN qualification. That is, the qualification of abnormal, frightening, destructive, indescribable. And here is Black Faceless Frank Wilda, destructive, a dark magician. His bright distinguishing feature is a mask on his face, and also dark green, almost turquoise eyes. For this strong magician, there is a reward that the secret tower will give to the one who catches Frank Wilda. Now his exact location is unknown. One day Frank got into a fight with one of the best fighters of the secret tower, and as a result of this powerful battle, an area of almost 10,000 kilometers was destroyed, and it was in that battle that Frank Wilda moved to his destructive level. There are only less than 10 supernatural beings of the destructive level in Nazin, and there are less than 100 of them in all of Azir. Jai Jixu is in complete shock. Out of anger, she even destroys the wall next to the girl's hand. She doesn't understand at all how Lin Jai is chatting so sweetly and calmly with such a strong and terrifying supernatural being. She decides that she has nothing more to do here. She picks up an umbrella from the ground and decides to go home. Jai Jin feels like she has stumbled upon a very unusual person in the person of Lin Jai. Now the girl finally goes away from the bookstore. Further, it seems to Lin Jai that Mr. Wilda is in a very bad mood today, and if he needs his help, then let him not hesitate to ask for help. Lin Jai thinks that Frank Wilda is one of the few old visitors to his store who comes here just out of habit. Along the way, Lin Jai puts the book Frank brought to his place on one of the shelves. And of course, such a lonely old man just needs special attention and company. As far as Lin Jai knows, Frank Wilda has 2 children, and the old man has a bad relationship with both children. Lovers constantly leave him, and other magicians dislike Frank, in particular, because of his appearance, so this old man is always lonely. He really is an ordinary lonely old man. This situation reminds Lin Jai of how they met Frank as much as 2 years ago. The meeting of the men really happened 2 years ago. Back then, Lin Jai already had his precious bookstore. On one of these rainy days, a new guest came to Lin Jai. He came in quietly, a mask on his face hiding the appearance of a man. Lin Jai's instinct told him that it seemed that this visitor would be very interesting. Judging by his clothes, Frank Wilda was not deprived of money, but for some reason he deliberately hides his face. It seems that he is a loner. At first glance, Lin Jai seems to be a man of science. Also, apparently, he is a research scientist. Yes, this is a good chance to talk to the owner of the store with such a colorful person. If you are careful, you can get yourself such a mature enough client. A man with a mask on his face is interested in who is the owner of this bookstore. He also asks if it is possible to return old books that have been read for a long time. Frank Wilda has several old books that may well carry collector's value. Lin Jai says with a smile on his face that yes, the store has such a function. Books, of course, can be handed over, but you need to wait a little. Lin Jai offers Wilda a drink. He only asks for ordinary black tea and nothing more. Lin Jai offers tea to get a little closer to an interesting guest. Frank thanks for the tea, but the man's rather old face is very scary, and therefore he does not want to cause the store owner unnecessary trouble. Lin Jai says he doesn't see this as a problem at all. Frank Wilda is still primarily a guest of the store. How can Mr. Lin be afraid of him? Moreover, only very stupid people look only at the appearance of a person and do not even try to look into the human soul. Frank is pleased with these words of the store owner. He says Lin Jai is pretty smart. Then it's better to be polite on his part and remove the mask from his face, and then thank Lin Jai for this tea. The owner of the store says that Frank Wilda's face is more strange than scary. Frank takes the tea and starts tasting it. Then it seems to Lin Jai that Frank's mask hides old battle scars. But then the hero tries to forget about it and drive these thoughts away. He definitely shouldn't pry into his guest's personal life. But judging by the books that Frank Wilder brought, he studies many languages and is a highly qualified linguist. Then it's worth trying to start a conversation with a guest from here. Frank says this tea is really good. He thanks Lin Jai for him. He says it's not worth the thanks. Mr. Lin also says that the books his guests brought are very interesting. They contain studies of very rare, and even already dead languages. There is magic between the words and lines of the book. It's really amazing. Frank Wilder is in complete shock. I am shocked at how the shop owner could feel the magical power of these manuscripts at all. How is this possible? After all, Frank had erased all traces before that. And yet, even a supernatural being of the destructive level would not be able to sense anything at all. And all the time Lin Jai is so calm and polite. But what kind of person is this? He is clearly very unusual. Mr. Lin is so carefree, but it's possible that he doesn't feel the aura, but he's definitely an unusual person. Then Frank Wilder says he does a little language research, and if Mr. Lin has any research in this area, but he could give it to him to read, it would be quite an interesting experience. Lin Jai says that he is not an expert in linguistics at all, but in turn he is engaged in research in related fields of science. It seems that Lin Jai has a couple of suitable books. It seems to the hero that, of course, professional scientists get used to physical loneliness, but even they can't stand the loneliness of the soul. It may be a good idea to point out a new direction in this matter. Therefore, Lin Jai wanted to recommend a book to Frank Wilder. The trick is that this book uses one of the most complex dialects in existence, which are referred to as the language of the devil. And if Frank is not a real linguist, then he will never understand the meaning of the text written in the book. From this book, Frank Wilder slips a mug of tea out of his hands. Frank is very excited about this book. He is very excited about it. So there is a devil's tongue in this book. Interesting. Lin Jai is glad that he coped with his task and was able to please his new client. Frank says that this is a very, very rare book. He is very interested in where it came from the owner of this bookstore. Lin Jai, much to my regret, cannot tell the whole truth. They are not in China now. Therefore, the hero can only say one thing. This language is one of the glorious, magnificent, and ancient civilization. It was widespread in her. Unfortunately, Lin Jai is unable to return there for certain reasons. Frank is interested in what the bookstore owner said. What kind of ancient civilization is this? Moreover, the hero uses such a nostalgic tone. Because of this, Mr. Lin is somehow really connected with this civilization and with this book. Was she really that intimidating? Now Frank Wilder is even more interested in what kind of Lin Jai is such a creepy creature. Then Mr. Lin says that he still does not know the name of the man in the mask. I would like to find out as soon as possible. The stranger says his name is Frank Wilder and his position is not really worth mentioning. In response, he also asks the name of the owner of this bookstore. The hero says that his name is Lin Jai and he is the owner of this bookstore. And Frank Wilder shouldn't be so formal and polite. Next, Wilder builds a very cunning face and, by the way, says that he recently encountered some difficulties in his research. But it was thanks to the devil's tongue that Lin Jai lent him that he was able to find a new direction. And now, in order to complete the research, Frank needs additional literature about similar languages. Lin Jai likes the fact that Wilder really calls the book The Language of the Devil, although this is just one of the funny titles. This really makes Mr. Lin laugh a little. But then he gets serious again, because he has a job looking for a new book for Frank Wilder. So the two mysterious men met. After that, Frank often comes to this bookstore. 40 years ago, one winter day, another young Frank Wilder came to the forest and now stands on a rock, right in front of a huge magician and the king, which also inspires with its size. So far, Frank is looking forward to the upcoming fight with the mysterious magician. Then the magician utters a phrase in which the magician orders Frank to die. Is this really the power that magicians use? Magicians manipulate the language and writing of power. It happened in the world that light magicians write spells, but dark ones take and pronounce these spells. The huge magician says that after becoming a dark magician, while Frank Wilder will try to find the voice of his soul. Further, realizing his own fear, Frank will definitely find the path leading to such a level of a magician. Frank is a bit lost in his past, but Lin Jai's voice brings him back to reality. Lin Jai asks if Frank wants to borrow a book of the same genre this time. Or is he interested in something else now? Frank Wilder replies that yes, he needs a book in the genre that he usually takes here. That book was too complicated, and besides, it seems that there is a dialect of another language in the book, which is deeply connected with the cultural customs of people. Frank wants to better understand the hidden meaning of what is written there. Lin Jai understood his client's request. He needs a second to think about it a little. At this moment, Frank waits patiently, slowly sipping tea. He thinks that Mr. Lin is as unselfish and generous with him as ever. It turns out that 2 years ago he had a difficult battle with an unpleasant man for him, Joseph. As a result of this battle, Frank Wilder was seriously injured. And so, when Frank lost his way, he came to Lin Jai and he instructed Frank on the right path. Also, Mr. Lin is able to pick up just the rarest books and completely hide his aura from Frank. And he is a magician of the destructive level. It's unthinkable. Meanwhile, Lin Jai assumes that this man sitting in front of him must be a hermit scholar whose strength goes far beyond the divine level. And now, 2 years later, Frank Wilder finally managed to start researching forbidden spells based on the remaining knowledge from that very book. And Lin Jai did all this thanks to this omniscient and well-read scientist. This time Frank Wilder is simply obliged to express his gratitude properly. Lin Jai reviews the books on the shelves, and then his hand stops at a book called Rituals and Magic, authored by Lin Jai himself. Lin Jai apologizes for keeping his client waiting. Mr. Lin thinks that perhaps he is a little arrogant, but he suddenly thought that this book is quite suitable for Frank Wilder. He's even a little embarrassed by what he said. Next, Lin Jai hands the book to Frank. He does not yet understand that Mr. Lin has such a reaction. Further, the hero says that to be honest, he is actually quite confident about this study. He is still confused. Frank carefully examines this book. Suddenly he notices that the authorship belongs to Lin Jai himself. Wilder is as surprised as possible. Are these Rituals and Magic really written by Lin Jai? The hero says that this is his rather insignificant work. He is even ashamed of it. Frank Wilder could have expected absolutely anything, but not this. Where did Mr. Lin get such knowledge about the world and its components? The cult of the truth of knowledge, then the cult of the moon, and finally the cult of the high fog wall. These are the 3 main beliefs that Frank knows. But such a faith as the corpse eaters, Wilder had never heard of such a thing. Also, Rituals and Magic has such an evil aura. The writer of this book is clearly not a kind person. Is Lin Jai really going to create his own faith? Then Frank Wilder asks Lin Jai if rituals are his area of research. Mr. Lin says that it is, but this is just part of his research. These studies that completely changed the fate of the hero. He wanted to continue with a more detailed account of this, but decides that it's better not to do it, at least not today. He immediately tells Frank to forget about his words. He shouldn't think about it. Frank Wilder is surprised by this formulation of Lin Jai. What is it? Did this really happen a long time ago? But what exactly? Is this the story that changed the fate of the hero? So that's how it is. Now Frank understands more well what is the matter here. According to Frank Wilder, Lin Jai is a scientist who researches forbidden topics and has such great power. This is a person who is doomed to be excluded from the main community, and it is because of this that Mr. Lin hides himself and his abilities from the rest of the world. Frank further notes that Rituals and Magic looks like this book is bound by hand. Why is this so? Lin Jai says that it is because of some unfortunate circumstances. He had no time to publish the book, so he had to save only the version that was made by Lin Jai himself manually. Deep down, Lin Jai is very sorry that he did not have time to release the book. If only the hero hadn't been transported to this world, but then he would have definitely managed to do it. After all, it was thanks to this book that Lin Jai received the degree of Associate Professor. Lin Jai even clenches his hand into a fist. Frank also notices this. But then Mr. Lin says that since he and Frank have common interests, he will gladly give the man this book. But of course, if Frank Wilder does not trust him for some reason, but Lin Jai can simply recommend some other book. Frank is very surprised by this action. Does Lin Jai really want to take and lend him this priceless original, even though Rituals and Magic is an experimental work? And besides, this book was never published. Frank Wilder sincerely thanks Lin Jai for being so generous with him, and it is also a great honor for Frank that he had the opportunity to read Lin Jai's books. But Frank also doesn't understand what Lin Jai really wants from him. He says that this work is precious and there is only one copy, so there is no doubt that it is a very painstaking work. Frank Wilder is really worried about the fact that Lin Jai is ready to give such a very important thing into the hands of a nasty and suspicious old man. Frank Wilder decides that perhaps Mr. Lin wants to put some kind of experiment on him. Lin Jai thinks to himself about how kind Frank is. After all, at first he was interested in all this, but when he learned that this book was the only one of its kind, on the contrary, he was ashamed to borrow it. Apparently, he doubts something. But Lin Jai is seriously determined that he is ready to dispel any doubts of Frank. Lin Jai says there is no need to worry about anything. Mr. Lin sincerely believes that Frank is able to increase the value of the book Rituals and Magic, because the hero's research is valuable only when other people can notice it. And as for this book and its only copy, this book no longer has any meaning for Lin Jai. Since today's Lin Jai already owns a whole book collection, the rest is no longer important. He can make a copy of the book at any time, and all because the knowledge and thoughts in Lin Jai's head cannot be stolen. As you know, you can only steal fame and wealth. That fame and fortune are not completely unimportant for Mr. Lin. Lin Jai hopes that Frank understands him. Frank Wilder seemed to understand right away. Lin Jai is a little unhappy that Frank has been agreeing to the book for so long. It would be better for him to take it. Now is the last chance to take this value for yourself. After all, Frank Wilder is a lonely old man. And besides, a scientist, he definitely needs this very fame and this very wealth to compensate for the emptiness in his soul. But unfortunately, such thinking can turn into painful fanaticism, and this is very harmful to health, so you need to give Frank Wilder the opportunity to be closer to the crowd and feel the care and kindness of the people around him again. Lin Jai hopes that Frank understands him. So many hints have already been made. Frank departs a little from his shocked state and says that he understands the hero, and he is also very grateful for such advice. Indeed, fame and fortune are not important. Did Lin Jai want to give Frank a warning not to divulge anything about this to other people? The scarred man has not fully understood this moment yet. Lin Jai feels the growing question and answers that he does not mind at all if Frank Wilder decides to recommend this book to someone else from his friends and acquaintances. Now Frank has no more questions, he understands everything. Therefore, the man promises to do everything possible. It seems to Frank that this is the price that Mr. Lin requires him to pay for using this book. The man really hopes that he will be able to distribute the work of Lin Jai. It is necessary not only not to expose the identity of the owner, but also not to distribute its contents. It seems that only Frank Wilder is able to fully study this book and then verbally convey its essence. Frank also needs to be careful and careful again. Next, Frank thanks Lin Jai for his long-term guidance. He wants to thank the hero with something. He really hopes that this gift will not upset Mr. Lin. Frank gives an unusual gargoyle to Lin Jai's bookstore as a thank you. It looks quite interesting and frightening. Lin Jai is very surprised by this gift. Frank says that this is not a very valuable thing, and it certainly will never pay off the value of Rituals and Magic and Mr. Lin's help. But Frank asks to accept it as a sign of his gratitude. This gargoyle is the work of Frank Wilder since his studies. His teacher highly appreciated it. She has sufficient magical resistance and also strong skin, extremely sharp claws and fangs, automatically recognizes the intention to kill, and also in terms of combat power, this gargoyle is not a bit inferior to elite warriors. Lin Jai really liked this gargoyle. He thinks that Frank is very shy, since he said that this gargoyle is not so valuable. This work is so elegant, almost realistic. Even despite the cost, it is quite a valuable token of gratitude. It seems that a gargoyle can be used for many things, for example, to exorcise evil spirits, because the role of a gargoyle is close to a stone that can ward off evil. Since this is a token of Frank's appreciation, but Lin Jai will gladly accept this mundane award. The hero says that this is an extremely exquisite work of art that suits his taste perfectly. He can't wait to see what kind of gift Frank Wilder will bring him next time. Frank is very happy that Mr. Lin liked his gift. This is just one gargoyle of a frightening level, but the value of a book by such a high-ranking person as Mr. Lin is enough to create tens of millions of gargoyles. Frank is a little upset. Of course, it's good that Lin is still so good-natured and merciful, so deliberately express praise for the gargoyle, just so as not to offend the man. Then it's time for Frank Wilder to leave. He promises that by the next time he will definitely prepare a gift that Lin Jai will definitely be pleased with. This gift must be valuable enough to reach the divine level for sure. Lin Jai happily says goodbye to Frank. He will be looking forward to a new gift. He will also be glad to meet a man again. Then Frank Wilder leaves, and Lin Jai continues to examine the gargoyle presented to him. It is quite possible that Frank will give him a gargoyle again, so that he has both a male and a female. It will be really elegant. He is also interested in whether there are males or females among gargoyles at all. Lin Jai is not aware of this issue. In general, the gargoyle is good. A lot of energy is released from it. Restraining the force is just fine. So, Lin Jai is almost done for today. Maintaining a clear creation is really easier to attract good luck. Suddenly, the hero notices that some strange black substance is dripping onto the table from somewhere above. Lin Jai is shocked by this. Then he realizes that he is already familiar with this black liquid. They haven't seen each other for a long time. Is it really him? Lin Jai is not happy to see this something in front of him. This is what is behind Lin Jai's transfer to another world. 3 years later, he appeared again. Lin Jai says that since he suddenly appeared here, then it's time for the hero to pay his price. Let the black substance directly say what the hero will need to do. After all, this unknown being helped Lin Jai achieve what he wanted. He is still friendly. He must belong to the class of good gods. Shouldn't the fee for getting what you want be sky high? Then, the substance takes the form of an inscription on the table, which says that DZU has already awakened and started his search. Lin Jai didn't expect this. Was it really because he had allowed Frank to recommend his book? The substance takes on a new form this time in the word yes. Now the hero understands what he needs to do. We need to get other people to recommend and spread rituals and magic, whether it will be beneficial for the mysterious creature. The substance again says yes, without changing its form. Lin Jai is visibly happy about this. He says that then there are no more questions. Then Mr. Lin will do everything in his power. After these words, the black mysterious substance disappears. She abruptly disappears from Lin Jai's field of vision. He will think about what just happened for a long time. In the city of Nazan, it is still pouring heavy rain. An unknown man in a raincoat looks around the city from the balcony of a tall building. The man says out loud that it's drizzling outside. He also reports that Frank Wilder, a black faceless suspect in the Hunters feud, was found on 23rd Street in Nazin. It turns out that this mysterious man has been following Frank all this time. Also, the man in the raincoat reports that Frank stayed in the bookstore down the street for about an hour, which is extremely suspicious. The stalker thinks that this Lin Jai bookstore may be a secret base for dark magicians. On the other side of the conversation machine is Jack, who is now in shock from what he has just heard. He says that this intelligence is very important. Jack says that he will definitely inform Teacher Joseph as soon as Jack deals with this. He also says that the man should already return and tell in more detail about what he saw there. The man replies that he understood the order and is ready to execute it. Suddenly, the very target of the pursuit appears behind the pursuer's back, Frank Wilder. He abruptly appears behind this man's back and calls him a rat. He clearly doesn't have the guts, since he has already decided on this action. The pursuer is shocked. He did not expect that his surveillance would be discovered so quickly. But still, Frank is a very experienced magician with colossal magical power, so he easily found this person. He immediately turns back, saying Frank Wilder's name. But he moves too slowly. Frank is much faster, and he has already grabbed his pursuer by the face in the black mask. Frank tells the rat to die. At the same second, the poor man is struck by Frank's magic. He had no chance to fight back and save himself. He's dead now. Jack's voice comes from the phone of the pursuer. Jack is extremely concerned about what happened on the other end of the handset. Did something terrible really happen? But now this person will not be able to answer. Frank Wilder puts his foot on this machine, and it immediately breaks to pieces. Frank does not regret what he has just done, even if it was cruel, but having dared to look into this man's house, that is, into Lin Jai's bookstore, then let him not even think about regretting death. After the incident, Frank disappears into the night, and in the city of Nazan, the rain continues to fall without abating for a minute. The door to the intelligence office of the secret tower. Entrance to the office of the head of the department. A girl named Claude, worried, knocks on the door of the office. He also enters and says that she has a report on an abnormal case for the Lord Knight. The Lord Knight allows Claude to enter. A girl with glasses says goodbye to someone in the hallway and enters the office. The Lord Knight is wondering what happened to the egg of the magic mirror. Did something happen again? Here the head of the department does not hold back and decides to speak rather rudely about the hunters. He says that hunters are really a bunch of stupid people. Claude did not expect to hear this. Apparently he came at a time when the head of the department was in a bad mood. And the Lord Knight continues his speech. If it weren't for the hunters, he would now be quietly enjoying his pension and not straining like this. He knocks with an iron hand on the table. This is a really strong blow, and further says that sooner or later he will practice boxing on the tombstones of the mothers of hunters. There's a big crack in the table, and Claude is about to come to his senses. She adjusts her glasses and asks the teacher to pay attention to the image she is about to show. The teacher tells Claude not to be afraid. He is also embarrassed by the fact that, it seems, Claude has not closed the door to the common corridor. Claude is a little awkward. A short silence is formed. The girl apologizes to the teacher and tells him that a new situation has formed this time. The Lord Knight clarifies, is this really a different situation? This is something new, finally. But what incident could be more important than the mess that the rabid dogs made? Claude agrees with this, but the spy who had previously tracked the hunter's movements was recently killed on 23rd Street. And according to the report that Claude brought, before he died, he found out the location of Frank Wilder. The teacher did not expect to hear something about a destructive magician. He immediately changes his face and asks again who exactly the pursuer saw. There is a joyful grin on the teacher's face. He has noticeably become excited. Claude repeats that their man was met by Frank Wilder, a black faceless magician. A magician of the destructive level, who disappeared 2 years ago after the Battle of the White Hills. At the moment the secret tower posted a reward for Frank's capture. Claude is really scared by this. She didn't even think about the fact that Frank really survived. These 2 years, only the teacher was sure that Frank Wilder survived that battle. The Lord Knight says that of course it is. He calls Frank a pathetic bedbug and also compliments his speech with the fact that no one understands his habits better than him. And finally Wilder crawled out of the sewer. The Lord Knight could not have imagined that Frank could be in Nauseam. That is, right under the nose of the secret tower. It seems that his brain, wrinkled like a nut, finally squeezed out some water. Only one thing is unclear. What was Frank Wilder doing on this very 23rd Street? What attracted his attention there? Claude replies that the information received by the secret tower is quite limited, since they suspect that the spy was killed by Wilder himself. At the moment only the fact that he entered a very ordinary bookstore is investigated. And it is also known that he stayed there for more than an hour, apparently buying or taking books for himself. The Lord Knight is displeased. How can a dark magician who gains power by relying on language buy books? It's just impossible. Claude is shocked by such a violent reaction. The Lord Knight concludes that there is definitely something wrong with this bookstore. There is definitely some mystery in it. Have the people of the secret tower checked the whole background of this bookstore? Claude says that, of course, they have already checked all the available information and according to the data received. This bookstore is listed as an Ash Chamber of Commerce. It has been operating for 3 years. Also has a good reputation and a very small number of visitors. The only oddity of this bookstore is that the owner is a foreigner. Initially, there were suspicions that this could well be a secret base of dark magicians, but now they are not very sure about it. The Lord Knight asks, what exactly are they not sure about? Claude says they're not sure about the entire Ash Chamber of Commerce. The Ash Chamber of Commerce is the property of Druid priests. They are light magicians who believe in nature. They are unlikely to be at one with some dark magician. Claude says that if they draw the wrong conclusions and rush, they may well damage the reputation of the Ash Chamber of Commerce. So, embittered Druids can start protesting against the secret tower. The teacher is extremely dissatisfied with this state of affairs. This time, out of anger, he hits the wall in the office. He calls the Druids a bunch of problematic vegetarians and continues to radiate negative energy. Claude thinks to himself that the word vegetarians is not correct, because Druids are not vegetarians. Then the teacher turns sharply to Claude. He is sure that the girl has just thought of something indecent. The girl says it's not like that at all. She has no such thoughts. Then the Lord Knight approaches Claude with a quick step and looks at poor Claude with an angry, fiery look. But the girl does not answer anything. She is just very scared. Here the teacher asks Claude to answer his unexpected question. What is the knight's task? The girl stammers and replies that the knight's main task is to eliminate darkness and preserve peace. In this case, they cannot be likened in the dark and compromise with their accomplices. So, Frank Wilder stayed in this suspicious store for more than an hour. How could he just talk about ordinary things there? Read a book or drink tea? No way. Does his dear follower Claude really think that a dark magician can just read a book in a completely ordinary bookstore? Yes, if the girl really thinks so, then the Lord Knight will put on mithril-pointed shoes and order the girl for such ignorance of such simple things. Claude then reports that the Ash Chamber of Commerce is still funding 40% of the secret tower's intelligence squad. Then Claude's words make sense. The teacher no longer scolds Claude. There was a very awkward silence between them. Then the Lord Knight tells the girl to forget about it and not worry. The man with the iron hand is going to personally go to this mysterious 23rd Street. He needs to see with his own eyes what, after all, is going on with this bookstore. Claude obediently agrees with this teacher. Next, he goes out into the corridor, where the Lord Knight greets the other knights of the tower. The glorious Lord Knight is asked if he has eaten. Then other knights gradually greet him. All the people in the secret tower admire their teacher. They all say that the Lord Knight is working very hard. Meanwhile, the Lord Knight descends in a fast elevator from the lowest floor of the secret tower. At the same time, he studies Lin Jai's dossier. The Lord Knight himself wants to see if this gentleman is so pure. The Lord Knight is Abraham Joseph, one of the 10 glorious knights of the former secret tower. But then, in the elevator, the Lord Knight has hallucinations. They are chasing the man again. He grabs his face, his every time. At exactly this time, the curse of the magic sword of light appears in front of him. The hallucinations of Lord Knight Abraham Joseph continue. He tries to get out of what his creation has plunged a man into, but he can't stop his visions. Now it seems to him that he is drowning in an infinitely deep sea. Long tentacles pull him down to the very bottom of the sea. These tentacles have eyes and mouths. The man still can't resist it in any way. Here, some unknown elf grabs the Lord Knight and covers his mouth with his hand. Then Abraham Joseph plunges down alone. He is being pulled deeper and deeper, further and further. But then the hallucination stops abruptly. The man with the iron hand is very glad that this is finally over and he has returned to reality. Now he is on the street and leans on some building here. It's still raining in Nauzene on 23rd Street, and the weather doesn't promise to be better, at least cloudless. Lord Knight Abraham Joseph feels that he will not be able to go to that bookstore today. It's really some kind of curse. The Sword of Light is the madness of its first owner, and also his imminent demise enclosed a curse in the sword, driving subsequent owners crazy. But only a strong-minded knight with unshakable willpower will be able to subdue this Sword of Light and curb its curse. But Abraham Joseph did not expect that the reverse effect would come so quickly, and he would not have time to find a worthy successor, so he is forced to suffer from constant hallucinations. Right now, the great and invincible Knight of the Sacred Flame is no more than just an elderly cripple right now. The man is a little offended because of this. The first leader of the organization, White Wolf Harris, says that the sudden activity really surprises him. It seems that he underestimated that lady. She is not as useless as it might initially seem. She will even be able to get the role of a second leader, for example. It's worth looking at what her subordinates will be able to do when faced with this. Kaji, now the former leader of the organization White Wolf Jai Jixiu, is fighting with the next enemies. They call the girl a monster and attack her from behind. The girl quickly deals with them. Next, she asks her friend Max how things are going. He says it has been confirmed that Harris has the enchanted face now. He must have gone completely crazy, since he staged a massacre inside the Hunters organization right after he took possession of the egg. Jai Jixiu is very angry. He thinks that Harris has really gone crazy. Max also says that he is afraid that their people are not strong enough to fight Harris yet. He's already teamed up with his third leader, Kaji, and it's possible that this attack could end in death. Then Kate appears. She also has an opinion on this matter. She says that Harris has a powerful force. Among the White Wolves, he is closest to the frightening level. But Kaji has trained many hunters of the organization. She is also afraid that the two have specifically teamed up against Jai Jixiu. Kate is sorry that Milady is faced with the betrayal of a vile person who is looking for the person behind her. Jai Jixiu thanks Kate for such words. If Kate hadn't changed clothes with the girl then, and hadn't helped her to restrain her pursuers, she would never have come out of that siege. Now Jai Jixiu is standing in front of Kate, struggling with the obstacles of fate. And all thanks to Kate herself. Kate thinks Milady is really amazing. She doesn't know what happened to her, because when she returned, she was unexpectedly able to suppress the effects of tainted blood and even preserve her sanity, without even having to turn into a beast. This is literally beyond the understanding of hunters. And that white figure traveling through time and space, tracking and killing enemies. Just like. Then another person appears. He ends the phrase Kate himself, the girl wanted to say, just like God. The man also says that although Harris is very strong, the fact that he is just close to a frightening level makes him really intimidating. And once the beast transforms, both Harris and Kaji become extremely easy targets. This man is an employee of the organization White Wolf, Mouse Ryan. Everyone is annoyed by Ryan, but Jai Jixiu believes that it seems that every organization has such a crazy person as a mouse. The rune of loyalty is imprinted on the soul. At least you can trust this guy. Jai Jixiu thinks that Kate and Max will be able to resist the power of destroying the egg of the magic mirror thanks to the rune of the light magician, who is under the patronage of the family. Then Jai Jixiu says out loud that she has the tainted blood of the beast. This is the hunt for the ferocious beast of dreams, has already become conscious. Now the hunters have no way back. You need to move only forward, straight to your goal. Next, Kate and Mouse Ryan are worried about the midsection. They ask her to be careful. The heroes are enthusiastically heading for the decisive battle. The heroes are at the entrance to the church. With a deft movement of the sword, Jai Jixiu destroys this entrance, and they move forward. The third head of the White Wolf organization, Kaji, was waiting for them in the church all this time. Kate doesn't understand why Kaji is here alone. "Where is Harris?" Then Jae Jiksu pushes Kate back. It seems to her that something is wrong here. She grabs Kaji and realizes that something was done to him earlier. Jae Jiksu wants to help Kaji to find out at least some information before it's too late. Then she asks Max for an injection before he turns into a beast. Jae Jiksu injects Kazdi and asks him where Harris is. Did he leave after taking the magic mirror egg? Kaji says he's coming soon. By he there is the word God. Then the third chapter dies, without really having time to tell anything. My lady is extremely upset because everything is going completely wrong according to plan. Max says that they should go to Haywood and ask him, because he, as a magician who was obliged to the family, will not refuse to help them. Jae Jiksu says it's not necessary. She also asks Kate to continue searching for Harris with Max, but Ryan should go with Jae Jiksu. The man asks where they are going. Then Jae Jiksu says that they need to go to 23rd Street. Lin Jae is sitting at a table in a bookstore. He is carelessly sipping tea and reading another book. It seems that another idle day is waiting for him. It has been 3 whole days since Lin Jae was visited by Frank Wilda and Miss Jae Jiksu. And from that moment on, no one looked at Lin Jae. Mr. Lin continues to drink his tea. He also thinks that even though he barely has enough money for food right now, Lin Jae still owes a lot to that little black girl. That is, Miss Jiksu. Lin Jae is simply obliged to show gratitude for the financing of his bookstore, an official business license, and a temporary residence permit that Jae Jiksu presented to Mr. Lin and his beloved bookstore. He really hopes that the book Nonviolent Communication, which Lin Jae had previously recommended to the girl, can really help her. After all, such unpleasant moments at school are simply terrible. But in such weather, there must be no visitors again. Lin Jae needs to think about how he can recommend the book he wrote. Accidents like the one that happened to Miss Jae are quite rare, after all. Someone comes into the bookstore here. Lin Jae did not hope for customers at all today. He immediately greets the guest and does not believe his eyes. Jae Jiksu herself came to him. She comes in and immediately closes the doors of the store with herself. The girl immediately apologizes for the concern provided to Mr. Lin. Lin Jae doesn't know at all how to react to this. His expression expresses a complete misunderstanding of the situation right now. He decides to somehow react to the girl so that she does not feel uncomfortable. He says he is very happy to see Miss Jae Jiksu. But Lin Jae was just talking about his regular customers and now the girl came here right away. Is his book business finally gaining momentum? It is quite possible that this lady will bring Lin Jae good luck, profit, and prosperity. And it is for this that it is worth investing in your studies. Lin Jae continues the conversation with the girl. He says that he did not expect to meet the girl again just 3 days after their last meeting. He also adds that customers do not return to his boring bookstore after such a short time. The girl is the first in this. She really surprises. Jae Jiksu thinks that, apparently, Mr. Lin is very disappointed with her. After all, it is obvious that since Jae Jiksu had already received such good advice and guidance 3 days earlier, she definitely should have solved all the problems instantly. But now, halfway through, she again came to the bookstore for help. She is ashamed to admit that she did not cope with the problems herself. She needs one more additional help. That's when everything will work out. Jae Jiksu continues to groundlessly blame herself. Is she really the most useless of Mr. Lin Jae's visitors? The girl really does not like her situation. She is really upset. Then Jae Jiksu looks up and notices a gargoyle on Lin Jae's word. Isn't this the same gargoyle that magicians use? Even without a magical aura, she is very intimidating to the girl. Mr. Lin must have discovered her while hiding, just like an ordinary person. But would that calm Jae Jiksu down? Unfortunately for her, she is very weak, like a defenseless child. Will Mr. Lin, as always, treat the girl with tolerance and even encouragement? Immediately after these thoughts, Jae Jiksu berates himself for them. What kind of brazen thoughts are in her head? The girl apologizes for taking and upsetting Lin Jae. Then Mouse Ryan abruptly enters the store. He asks if this is really the place Jae Jiksu was going to take him to. But this is an ordinary bookstore, what's the point? Or to this unusual store, then it changes the case. Here he sees Lin Jae, who is an ordinary person. Then Mouse Ryan does not understand anything at all. Lin Jae wonders what kind of person he is. The lady says that this is her subordinate. His loyalty is 100% absolute. Do not worry about it. Lin Jae is unhappy with this man. He feels sorry for the girl in his own way, because this poor child is actually surrounded by some scoundrels. Ryan's mouse apparently should have a loyalty mark. Then Lin Jai notices something strange. After all, if Jai Jixu had already taken revenge on that terrible person, as Mr. Lin advised earlier, then the girl would not be so confused and insecure now. Besides, how could she upset the hero, as she said earlier? Had Ling Jai's worst suspicions been confirmed? Then he asks Miss directly if she has failed in her revenge. Jai Jixu is not at all surprised that Mr. Lin already knows everything. She honestly admits that yes, she completely failed. This man ran away from her, and her people still don't know where. She has already sent someone to look for this man, but there are still no leads yet. Jai Jixu's fight with him lasted 2 days, and she made so much progress thanks to Lin Jai's leadership that Harris was already steadily retreating. But yesterday, after 5 hours of fierce fighting, despite the great expense, Miss Jai was able to destroy his headquarters. But by that time Jai Jixu realized that Harris already knew that her opponent was not himself, so after abandoning his ally, he ran away. And now it seems to the girl that she underestimated the enemy, and the fact that everything was going smoothly was just an unusual warning. Lin Jai is very surprised by this story. Jai Jixu apologizes to Mr. Lin because the girl got carried away so quickly. Lin Jai says that she shouldn't apologize, it's not a girl's mistake. Then the hero sips his tea. He doesn't fully understand what happened. And really, what's wrong? How did this lovely lady turn human relations into a war? Although, to be fair, everyone says that love is like a battlefield. Only in this case, love is the battlefield. Ling Jai keeps thinking about it. It is possible that this miss is used to using some business terms, which is why her descriptions have become so suspicious and strange. It will be easier to explain it this way. Apparently, what Jai Lin meant was that she had been communicating with that bad man for 3 days. But in the end the lady realized that this cunning man had already found a good way to escape from the girl. After all, he had prepared in advance. That is, that he left a friend as bait and disappeared with the money stolen from Jai Jixu. So that's it. Lin Jai says he understood everything. Then the girl is very interested in what Mr. Lin thinks about all this. That's where Mouse Ryan got completely confused. Who is this person for Miss? What's going on here anyway? Earlier, it turned out that the mouse reports information to the other side. He called his customer and told him what he had found out. He found out that the Black Faceless is now in the city. The person on the other side of the connection is surprised that Ryan found out about such top-secret information. Ryan asks if he really doubts the reliability of his information. The voice on the phone says, of course not. As expected from Mr. Ryan, he easily did what they could not. It's so exciting that the blood runs cold. Ryan says there's no need to flatter him. His next target will be one girl. Ryan should take the loyalty mark as insurance, but the person does not know if it will be easy to reduce it later. However, the power that this girl possesses is quite interesting. Then Kate appears, which prevents this conversation from continuing. She finally found the place where the mouse was hiding. She says Jai Jixu is looking for him everywhere, it's time to go. Now Ryan is my lady's servant, not a wild mouse running around on the floor. He could definitely use some manners. Ryan immediately apologizes for his mistake. He will come right away. He's sorry he kept Miss waiting. Ryan has the ability to freely control the ability to transform, and if he manages to get hold of this dangerous information, they will be able to destroy all the organizations of hunters. And after receiving them, even a sewer mouse can become the king of beasts. Right now, Ryan doesn't need to disappoint Miss Jai Jixu. But he still does not understand why Medeli treats an ordinary person so respectfully, as if she had encountered the strongest divine level. The lady asks Lin Jai to help her urgently. Mr. Lin says that she doesn't need to worry so much. Everything is easier than the girl thinks. After all, Jai Jixu's enemy is not that person right now, but something else. The girl's fear is just fear, so she needs to wait. Then there will definitely be good news. Here Ryan understands something. Because he is also engaged in deceiving people, then he is well familiar with cunning techniques. And is Mr. Lin using something like that? Bragging, empty words, ambiguity, all these are tricks used by scammers. Ryan knows all too well about it. Lin Jai is a complete liar. Here Mr. Lin apologizes and asks to wait a little. The hero needs to sort something out. It will take literally 5 minutes. Lin Jai thought that there would be no guests today, so he himself drank too much tea. He needed to pour more. Lin Jai leaves, and then Ryan starts asking the boss about all this. Jai Jixu calls Ryan an impudent person. She took the mouse with her, only because the information that the man owns can be useful, and not because she trusts him or appreciates him. Doesn't he know that he has to be polite? Ryan doesn't have any manners. Ryan screams that Lin Jai is a complete liar. Yes, the mouse does not know about manners, but he knows it. Knows too well. There is no one who knows better than him. Although Mr. Lin is good at lying, but Ryan can find at least 3 people who do it on the same level as him. Ryan just doesn't want to see Miss cheating again. Jai Jixu says she shouldn't have taken Ryan with her, but if the mouse was not useful, then the girl would certainly cut him down with a sword right now. Then Ryan calms down a little. He thinks this little girl is really easy to manipulate. You just need to distract her attention from Ryan with the help of blind faith in Jai. Ryan says he will prove everything to the girl as soon as Lin Jai returns. He hides a sharp blade in his sleeve, apparently prepared it for Lin Jai. Immediately, a gargoyle awakens, who felt a thirst for murder. Ryan was going to hurt Mr. Lin. Then the gargoyle grabs Ryan and almost swallows him. Jai Jixu doesn't even have time to do anything, and she herself is very scared of what just happened. Then Lin Jai comes down from the top floor. He apologizes for keeping him waiting. Then Mr. Lin notices that the lady's subordinate is nowhere to be found. Where is he? The girl does not know what to answer. She is still scared. Then she decides to lie to Lin Jai, saying that Ryan had an urgent matter, so he left.